The Fat Controller's engines. One evening, Thomas brought his last train to the junction. He went for a drink. He said to Percy and Toby. They answered. Percy went on. Toby looked at the sky. Laughed Thomas. Asked Toby reasonably. Said Thomas excitedly. 7 engines from the other railway were coming along the line. Whistled Percy. He explained. Ginty and Pug whistled cheerfully as they puffed through the station. Asked Thomas. Answered his driver. So they followed to the big station at the end of the line where all the engines had gone. The Fat Controller was waiting for them there. He said. Squeaked Percy. The Fat Controller glared. Percy subsided. He continued. The engines whistled. The Fat Controller held his ears. He bellowed. Next day, as Annie and Clarabelle were going to England too, Thomas and Ginty practiced with some other coaches. Thomas was excited. He began boasting about his race with Bertie. Crash! The buffers broke. No one was hurt, but Thomas's front was badly bent. They telephoned the Fat Controller. He said. Next morning, the engines waited at the junction. Toby and Percy were each on a truck, and Doug had pushed them into place behind Edward. Henrietta stood on a siding. The Fat Controller had called her a curiosity. He said. She felt very grand. Gordon, James and Henry were in front. They whistled impatiently. The Fat Controller paced the platform. He looked at his watch. He said, turning to the guard. Whistled Thomas and panted into the station. Annie and Clarabelle twittered anxiously. Said the Fat Controller sternly. Thomas, abashed, arranged himself and the coaches behind Duck, without saying a word. The Fat Controller climbed into Henrietta. The guard blew his whistle and waved his flag. The engines whistled, and the cavalcade puffed off. The engines stood side by side in a big airy shed. Hundreds of people came to see them and climbed in and out of their cabs every day. They liked it at first, but presently felt very bored, and were glad when it was time to go. The people along their line put the flags out and cheered them home. They said.